to start with talking about. Here we are making your first lesson video. So hey, there's two left-hand thumb positions. One is for first position chords and riffy stuff, which is thumb over top. When you've been doing that, you've been going like this and so forth, whereas what we want to do is make this C-shaped thing where you're touching your palm on the instrument. And I'm recording this right now, so this is you at home later following along with this. So, there's the very first thing is that, so before you do anything else, just grab the guitar like that, play G, play C, play D. Just do some single strums. Don't worry about your right hand at the moment. Just get used to being... What we're achieving is that you'll be more out in front of the instrument than you have been, which makes it easier to come straight in at the strings. That's the one of two total thumb positions that there are. The other one is classical thumb position, which is your thumbs smack in the middle and straight. Not like this, which creates all this, I don't have all of my fingers available, but this, and smack in the middle, right? Your inclination, just like everybody's, to be up a little higher. And any of the bar chord shapes you've been making, or power chord shapes, those are going to be where you need to be. The way we identified you can trick your hand, if you will, into doing this is by putting 4 fingers all on the bass string at the intended fret, and that'll put your hand in where they're all actually resting on one string. That'll force your thumb down towards the ground and your arm out in front of the instrument. So that's how to trick yourself into doing it, including your pinky not feeling like a reach. Cool. So, and the other thing we really noticed is that you need to be moving your left elbow more and not resting it on your leg. So that is the thing I want you to most focus on right now. Just make sure this is cool. Yes, it is. In your practice is just think about that elbow positioning, and let's just keep it within the context of playing like the easiest thing you can think of. That's strumming, just whatever. Like just you can even hit open strings for the sake of argument. No, I guess you can't. We talked about how E major, we're going to play like this, not with these 3 fingers and not like this. We want to have fingers available on either side anytime the guitar affords us that opportunity. It seems like you have an easier time doing that when you play A minor, like you had A minor in a song already. They're the same shape. So, when you move between those, it's a movement that's happening at your shoulder and elbow. So we've seen that your elbow, just like everybody else, is pinned against your body, and that's what's making it seem difficult to play around the 2nd fret. So, yeah, parallel to your arm, and we want your middle finger and thumb parallel to each other, like there's a piece of string around them. And that works whether we're in classical juxtaposition or over the top, within reason, like just not off to the side, not like this, nothing weird, and moving at your shoulder and elbow. Cool, so there's just general technique overview stuff. So hey, then let's just do, if you want to learn your note names right now, that's cool, you can do that at whatever point. Again, the key step is to just randomize the order you think about them in. We were just like G and C, A and D, and then I was just like quizzing you, and within 20 seconds you were getting 100 on that quiz, so there you go. And then after that add B and E, and the 7th fret, and then give yourself a quiz on all 6 of those dots. So it's not a deductive reasoning problem, it's the same thing as I'm Cass, that's the 10th fret, this is a guitar, that's A. Cool, so there is our landmarks thing. And then the first thing you're going to do is be playing your GCD song. The 2 things we're going to be most aware of at this point, we're going to be right hand heavy right now on your strumming side, are going to be, like we were saying, a wider range of motion than you're used to. And that's how we manage to just graze all the strings with equal velocity. And I've noticed during this lesson, just like everybody else, you have a little bit too much of the pick sticking out, so you want to put that a little, more like this, not like that. So there you go. Didn't bring that up till now, as we had enough on your plate. So, great. I would love for you to slow this song down to the following tempo. Or just really slow, and just do one good one, pause, one good one, pause, one good one is you play through the strumming pattern once. And it's essentially you do this a little bit, our brain will go, come on, I can just do it over and over again already. But we want to be consciously focused on what you're doing. We're in like the memorization stage with this. Oh yeah, other thing was your guitar's naturally falling down too low. And the way you fix that is just by, your right arm holding it in a little bit higher position than you've been used to. Same stuff everybody does, and that's going to make everything you're doing easier, as you won't be tempted to rest your left elbow on your leg. And this wouldn't be an issue if you were standing, which I'm not suggesting stand, just while on the subject. Cool. So we're going like down, down, up, down, up. So just go for one good one and pause. One good one and pause. Pretty much just the right hand's what we're working on at this point. You could theoretically just be going. That's the part we're trying to focus on. It would sound shitty, but that's what we're working on right now. Is this range of motion for strumming, not this range of motion. And like we were talking about during the lesson, we're going to do things like play thumb defense on C chords by just touching the bass string. So we're going. Legit. So there you go, there's good news there, and just swinging away. And then when you play your G chord, it's totally fine to accidentally hit the 5th string, as long as you don't hit the 6th string. So your thumb naturally just muting that. But again, it doesn't have to be here, it can just be barely making contact with it. If it makes any contact with it, you're gonna mute it. So yeah, we can, what we're actually playing is D/A, D over A, which means a D with an A bass note, and it'll sound totally fine. There'll come a point where you need to be able to strum 4 strings, but right now we're working on this wider range of motion. We're going to forego trying to just hit 4 strings exactly. And in fact, you might just change your song to just have G's and C's in it. You might just make it so that you don't have a chord where you're trying to hit 4 strings. In fact, that's a good suggestion. I don't know if you're playing any specific song right now, or this is just a practice thing you devised, but why don't we go ahead and take D out of the mix if you want, or take it out, then put it back in. At this point, I just want to revisit that the whole thing that matters is that you be consciously focused on what you're doing, not in the guessing headspace when you're going over the initial I'm learning what I'm going to do in a moment, learn the dance steps part, and then switching to dancing. Everybody wants to, and it's a very natural inclination to want to move on prematurely because playing the song is way more fun than myopically thinking about every detail of what you're doing. And then, for most people, it's like if 2 to 4 times more than where they'd naturally be inclined to move on. If they just did a thing 2 to 4 more times, it would be really stuck in your long-term memory more. So, just pause the video now. There's part 1. We're at like 8 minutes. I don't know if I'm sending one of these texts from my next student. We're all good. So that, let's just move on to our stroke song where we're playing this B minor bar chord where I'm actually not barring. I'm going nothing, 2, 4, 4, and your pinky was the biggest thing that was giving you trouble. Here is where I am fretting on my pinky, where that indentation is, and you're fretting more like down below there. So, you gotta come straight in at the strings, just like all the other times. You pretty much want to approach this as though it's a brand new chord, and we noticed that when you started with your pinky, you did it correctly right out of the box the first time. So that's going to be the strategy I suggest. Anytime you see 2 fingers on the same string, you know something's wrong, which we have a case of right now. What your ring finger and middle, you mean to be down lower. There you go. Cool. So, just left hand overview in the song. We're going to be playing this B minor shape. And then we're going to, it's going to go middle finger on, middle finger off. And before we even worry about playing the song, just get your hand to be able to do that. So we're picking this because we're getting into good position to play a bar chord, but not actually barring. I need to remind you here not to have your elbow pinned against your body, and you need to be constantly reminding yourself of that. In fact, I'm going to just write a big old thing on the page at the bottom that says left elbow, because there's too much stuff for us to be consciously focused on, and there it will just jump right out at you. as that's sort of it's pretty much the thing that's making everything else go wrong when you're down in first position, because it feels like it's all the way over there. So there's the good news, is you can move your arm. And so great. So just, try to get your hand to be able to go without worrying about whether you strum up or down or with your hand or whatever. So there you go. In our actual song, we're going to be going between that and E. But we don't really need to worry about that right now. And your strumming pattern is just going to be all downs. And here's like a suggested starting tempo. So that's middle, off. Or sorry, you know the song better than I. However, it actually sounds in the song, which we can get that cranking again here. I'll show you what I mean. Alrighty. Okay, strokes, YouTube, there you go. If you want to go ahead and pack up, you can, man. This is all that's happening, aside from scheduling. Alright, cool. So, no, not there. Cool. So, here is this song. This is on Vivo, so it's going to be really long. So, you've got a little pause here in the video. You can note and make it just skip it. But we'll be able to skip it ourselves in 3, 2, 1. It's over. 11:30 in your video sucks. Then there's 11:40 and it's over. So here's what I mean. We've got this melody line that's going. Forthcoming. 1, 2. Alright, so it's cool. So it's middle, off, middle, off. So 4 strums of each. Underemphasized concept is that when I go to do a chord change move that big, I actually hit the open strings once. It's called the open strum. So if we simulate like I'm on the very last strum going, that's what we're all doing. That's how it would be hard for me to go that fast. So there's actually this one open strum in there. So there you go. Try to go. Before we even worry about the E, just try going. And, totally don't worry about rhythm or pace or tempo or anything until you can wrestle your hand into shape. And if you don't get to this, it's no big deal. The other thing we did is that, and I'll just go over this really quickly, is that you threw your capo on the 2nd fret. You could just go A minor. We don't have our thing anymore, but there you can just. And there you could actually probably play along with the band, which is them. And so again, you've got this open strum, like. I just did this to illustrate what I'm talking about. Awesome. So those are the things we're working on. Just pause this video as you go and go through this stuff. Hit me if you have any questions. This is supposed to be difficult. This is supposed to hurt. This is supposed to be frustrating. It's all good. You're doing well. There. Positive reinforcement.